them in my psyche too. It's very special. So I'm wondering how you think materialism directly affects people's relationships, because I know that in the West, so many people are on the brink of divorce, have divorced, are really suffering in their relationships, and I wonder how you think materialism is affecting that.
Well, if you've grown up in the U.S. in the West or whatever, and you've had for the last 70 plus years or 100 years, I mean, not in your individual life, but I guess in the culture, for 70 or 100 years of companies marketing to you, telling you that, whether it was in print back in the early 1900s, or whether it came into radio or television or billboards, etc., that if you use this toothpaste, you're going to be more attractive to other people. You'll be happier. If you use this shampoo, you'll be happier. If you buy this car, you'll be happier. But wait, if you get this car, you'll be even happier than that other car, etc. If you have this, that's what we live with. That's the entire
Yeah.
mechanism.
Right. You have to constantly obtain the next new
right,
thing.
Right. This entire mechanism of corporate capitalism. That's what this Western society runs on. It's the machinery. It's the engine. It's everything. Right. And so that is, just gets absolutely, completely integrated and ingrained in our psyches, and does great damage to our psyches, honestly. And so if that's the case, then what's happening is that people are so distracted by that particular mechanism and that energetic, that how can they possibly have a really high level relationship with another human being, because half the time they're not even able to be present with that other human being or with themselves.
Exactly.
They're not able to be
exactly.
So I think it's tough.
It prevents people from being intimate, I think, because their mind is constantly busy with thinking about what it is they need to obtain or achieve, or it's kind of going back to that whole idea of seeking outside validation. If I have this car, then the next door neighbor will think that I'm really hot stuff.
Right,
and
exactly. So you're
it keeps
programmed to look
people's
outside all
minds.
the time.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, no,
And
I think you described it perfectly.
Yeah, and it just prevents people from really developing deep intimacy, because to develop deep intimacy, you have to be present.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what are some of the cultural differences that you think lead to a materialistic mindset? Capitalism, all of that. Where is all of this coming from?
Well, listen, definitely I am no expert in this field by any means. I mean, I've just been around for a long time.
We're just shooting the shit. We're just talking about it,
Yeah, I'm an observer. I've been a social and we'll call it a social activist, social political activist for over 50 years. I was sort of brought up in that also, and so I observe social situations, social trends in general, and I've been trained in energy for 45, 50 years. So I'm watching everything from this standpoint, and like I said, I'm no expert in it, but what I see is really just kind of what we described is a system where our entire life becomes focused around this acquisition of external validation or external things, and we've been programmed to do that. And I guess it drives this particular economic system, which I don't necessarily think is the most effective. And again, I'm no sort of esoteric economist, so I can't tell you right now, I know the great system. I know that there are plenty of people who are working on that out there, and I think it's something that we all need to explore a bit more, because the system that we have now and not just capitalism, but particularly corporate capitalism, which is its own sort of unique animal, is really designed to basically devour everything in its path, and it'll probably eat itself eventually, and
Well, that would be
destroy
nice.
and really destroy everything around it. So I mean, it's a pretty destructive system, if you ask me.
Yeah, I meant that what would be nice was that it would eat itself,
Oh,
not
I know.
not the
I
rest
know
of
you meant
us.
that. No, I was with you on that one.
Okay. Yeah, like Facebook, for example. I'm hoping that they eventually eat themselves, but
There you go.
right. So what do you think will help people come out of this existential angst, as you call it, and how does all of this connect back to tantric philosophy?
Well, I mean, I don't, you know, that question, what will help people come out of this existential angst? I have not given a ton of thought to that, but what I know or have seen works is really the path that I've taken, and so that's the only one I know works for sure, and that is one of really working with energy and understanding energy, because the more that you understand energy and see it around you, the more these other things get exposed for what they are, for the energy, destroying or sucking things that they are, and I think that awareness brings people out of it. So even this pandemic that we have right now, obviously, has exposed tons of weaknesses in these systems, and I think people are seeing even more clearly now, because of this situation we've been put in, how some of the systems are dysfunctional. And I think that itself is waking people out of it to a degree.
Agreed.
Hopefully. But as far as
keeping people stuck, either one.
Yeah, well, we'll see, right? And but as far as a conscious system that one can do, I think really doing qigong work and doing something like energy-based esoteric tai chi, those things are very effective at bringing you to seeing the world as from an energy-based standpoint. And the more we see it that way, the more that I think we kind of come out of the illusions that are being produced by these other systems.
Yeah, agreed. So my base is actually in yoga, which is, these are similar systems,
That's right.
similar philosophies, energy-based. So I really, really connect. That's essentially what led me into practicing Tantra, was my 15 years of practicing yoga and teaching yoga and really, really solidifying my, myself in that system. So we have some similarities. And I'm curious, what is the life you would like to create yourself as, for yourself as a result of this move? What's your kind of ideal vision for this move?
Wow.
Dream with me.
I don't know. I'm just I'm just walking in the direction that I feel and I sense is going to be most beneficial. And I've had tastes of it from traveling my whole life through these cultures, in these circumstances. And I am walking towards diving into it deeper and seeing what that's like. Of course, my own work, my own spiritual work, my own tantra work and energy work is what is most important, and that is the thing that will produce the life that I want. However, I'm walking towards environments that I feel will be more in alignment with that and more supportive of that work. And so part of what I'm doing is walking towards also a relationship with somebody from one of those cultures who seems to have a shorter list of what will make them happy, who seems to have a simpler and less, a simpler view of that, and less, kind of less pollution in their mind from less complicated, and less polluted mind based on the types of stuff we experience here in the West. So, I'm hoping that I will be in an environment physically, culturally, and in a relationship that is more conducive to the qualities I'm looking for.
Well, I can see that materializing for you, and that's a beautiful vision, Chris. And maybe you can just tell our listeners the best way to get in touch with you, whether it be through Facebook or your website, whatever is best.
Right. Sure. Best place basically is through my website, and that's www.esensualmassage.com. So it's the letter E and then the word sensual and the word massage.com. And there's email addresses for contact on there and so on. I teach workshops around the world. I travel out and teach weekend workshops throughout the world and retreats occasionally. So I'm available in different parts of the world that way. I'm also available if somebody wants to sponsor a workshop in their city or some part of the world, and I'm also available for that. That's primarily how that stuff occurs. And
awesome.
And I do private work with people also, but I can be contacted that way.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. And Chris, thanks so much for chatting with me.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Pleasure being here.
Thank you. And feel free to check us out at www.divine-couples.com. And our social media page on Instagram is @divine.couples, adding intimacy, passion, and healing to your lives. I am also going to be launching a course called Awaken Your Desire on January 12th for women. If you're interested, feel free to contact me at info@divine-couples.com. Thanks so much for joining us on Divine Couples. I am your host, Naomi Slater.